Alright, this is a pretty crazy arena run involving just a whole bunch of moose scaling. Moose is one of those animals that I slept on for such a long time because I just did not realize how much scaling it actually is. It's a tier 5, and if you have nothing but tier 6s frozen in the shop, you get +6/+6, which is just by far the most amount of scaling you can get in pretty much anything. Like, even, a similar scaler on tier 5 is Monkey, that gives +2/+3. Plus, you have to put that at the front. So if you compare those things, it is kind of crazy how many stats you get from Moose. Of course, with Moose, you have to freeze the entire shop, but like that's not really that much of a penalty since you can still buy food, you can still find chocolate, which is extremely helpful, and yeah, so you can still scale even more and buy equipment. So I think that the Moose in general is just really good right now. I don't know, maybe it'll get nerfed in the future. Who knows? It is kind of an interesting unit, though. I kind of like its existence, but just maybe right now it's a bit too strong. Could be a tier 6. I know they love nerfing the scalers, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do this in the future. But yeah, and when you start going with multiple moose, or meese, no, that's not the plural of moose. It's like that Brian Regan joke that I remember because the health teacher in like 8th grade showed us Brian, or introduced us to like Brian Regan, and that was one of the bits. But yeah, I don't know. The plural of moose is just moose. But yeah, if you go with multiple, you have like a level 2 and a level 1. Um, then you can double buff stuff. So you can get +12/+12 to one unit in one turn. Get it to 50/50 in pretty much 4 turns. And that is just crazy. That is way too much. Plus, it also has like some synergy with Ostrich, although I didn't actually use Ostrich in this run. The Moose is just how many different like ways can I say it's crazy? It's absurd. It's outrageous. I need like a thesaurus so I can just start naming adjectives. I knew I was going to be going for either moose or husky is actually what I was looking for in this run, so that's why I did not take the buffalo. I would normally advise taking an early buffalo pretty much all the time. I don't know why I would skip it if I'm unless I'm trying to do this like YouTube stuff. Should definitely put the blobfish in front of the flamingo to get that extra +1/+1 or +2/+2. And the level 3 pillbug, also pretty nice just for some scaling on tier 1. It does cause some interesting stats, like this 2/9 otter right now that is going to become a 2/12 next turn if I don't sell it. That will be kind of interesting. Going for level 2 blobfish, it looks like. Okay, I can wait for the tier 4s. Thought about buying sell, but decided to look for otter or flamingo instead. Like with 3 rolls, a pretty decent chance of finding at least one of those two things and getting an early tier 5 or getting 2 early tier 5s, and that should be a great advantage. So there's so much scaling on tier 5. I've been doing random pack lobbies on stream a lot, and like pretty frequently the tier 5 is just like a whole bunch of scaling. It's really rare where you do a random pack and there's not much scaling. So it does feel a little repetitive, but like it's still different enough every time where it's kind of interesting and kind of fun. A 313 otter, would you look at that? Early seal and early zebra. So I mean, there's one of the scalers, but again, I was not trying to go for seal in this run, so I decided to pass it. Again, don't recommend. Don't do what I do. Like, do what I say, right? Is that the saying? I don't even know. And the blobfish chain looking pretty nice. Got the level 2 flamingo. Anyway, now the random segment where I just talk about random other shows or like movies that I've seen or watched. I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, which is a like sports documentary featuring Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, who like I watch It's Always Sunny, love that. Of course, Ryan Reynolds, like seen Deadpool and all that stuff. So that just makes it interesting. But they bought a soccer team in Wales, or a football team, I should say, and they've been like it's in not in the professional like Premier League is like at the top. Then there's like Champions League, League One, League Two. They're in like the fifth tier league, so they're not even close. But every year, if like the top 4 teams or something, they get promoted to the next league. So like it's their journey trying to get to that. It looks like I kind of wasted the pillbug buff there, but it's pretty good. It's been fun to watch. Uh, One of the few TV shows that I actually watch since I mostly just stick to movies. But Instant Level 2 Moose. That's the great thing about Blobfish. Just having this pill frozen until then. I think like freezing a pill is not really that bad. Just taking up half the shop slots, but most of the time I'm not even buying that much food. I should probably buy some food here though, or I could just pill the turtle. I don't really know what the plan is. I could even just buy this turtle and then I would get level 2 if I find a pill. And I guess I'm not worrying about the moose buff right now because I was planning on just finding as many moose as possible. It's really tempting to say meese, but you can't find it obviously if you freeze the entire shop. So I have to find all of them first and then just buy chocolate and hopefully level them up that way. So it looks like I decided to just go straight for the level 3 moose. Could buy, sell a cow here. Oh, okay, no. Just deciding. I didn't pay attention to the tiers. Sometimes I just forget about the moose buffs, but ending on Husky for +4/+4, and then just gonna waste 1 gold, because I don't want to risk rolling once and just seeing a tier 1 in the shop, and that's -3/-3 right there, so it's not really worth it. It's just 1 roll, right? Not too big of a problem. Tiger Kangaroo this late is not typically great, so I managed to get a draw even though my team is pretty weak, because I haven't really been scaling with Moose. Get some extra stats from the pill bug. And do I go straight for level 3? I could also pill the turtle, which would make a lot of sense. What? Okay. I thought I was going to pill turtle. Maybe I got too attached to it just because it's at 8-11. Starting to freeze things. It's kind of like interesting decision of what tiers do you actually freeze? How risky do you actually want to play it with Moose? I usually try to play it pretty safe. Okay, just gonna slowly die. Hold on. I usually play it pretty safe because the amount of times I've had like 4 things frozen, the last one, and I just need to roll like a tier 4 or tier 5, and then it ends up being a tier 1 and all the stats get wasted. It happens so often. It's like, it's a 1 out of 6 chance technically, but it feels like it's way more often. But yeah, so the tier 6s have begun. Leveling stuff up is great because it just guarantees a tier 6 frozen. Looking pretty good, and there's all tier 6s. So only have a level 3 and a level 1. I say only as if this is bad, but this is still insane stats. We're getting +18/+18 from this one moose, and then +6/+6, so +24/+24. You can see the entire team is getting +6/+6. Not quite as satisfying as like, I don't know, 4 or 5 huskies buffing each other. My voice is dying, it seems like. Summon team, a little scary. Does look like I actually lose this one, so hopefully, I mean, I survive. I should be able to outscale pretty much any team in existence with this. I could take cheese, especially for like turtles, since, well, actually, no, I could. Okay, it looks like I'm unfreezing the entire shop, which is kind of surprising. And then looks like I'm thinking about Mammoth Pill, 4 gold for 8 stats, but decide against it. And I guess I'm going with White Tiger Octo. It might be better to go White Tiger Reindeer here, since I do have a great way to scale the reindeer, but Octo's more fun. I don't know, just seeing all the rocks being shot out of the Octos, very enjoyable. Also, it does counter summon teams if I happen to run into like a really strong summon team. So I'm not really sure what to sell here. I guess I just sell, okay, that's interesting. I probably should have sold the pill bug. I got maybe too attached to the stats here. It is a 32-36. It's the biggest unit on my team. But, like, I don't know what the stat skunks are, but usually 33% of the health is quite a bit. So you can add in just, like, that extra attack to the skunk for its, like, what its actual stats are kind of relative to the pill bug. But still really good scaling. Quite the pivot. Could easily lose here. And it's a draw. Okay, really lucky, but I was really greedy to try to get more moose on the team. But I don't know, it's kind of hard to do while trying to also just freeze tier 6s. Pepper for the Octo seems pretty nice. I could even pepper the White Tiger. It's also getting scaled. Decide to change the positioning to double scale the White Tiger and the Octo now. So yeah, +12/+12 a turn. I can sell this pill bug and I try to get another moose on the team, hopefully. At least that's the plan. This looks like a pretty scary team, but Tiger Kangaroo, again, probably a pretty overrated strat. Don't want to keep that too late into the game. And, okay, I rolled past like 3 peppers, then decide, you know what? If the game really wants to give me a pepper, I guess I can take it. It's pretty much equivalent to melon. Not too much of a difference, really. Like, if they do have leopards or, like, lynx, I guess it protects against the damage, but usually pepper is satisfactory. For unfroze the entire shop, trying to get this moose on the last team. I mean, the things are going to reach 50-50 pretty quickly here. Nice snipe from the Octo there. Killing that Peacock. And double T-Rex. It'd be great to get a team of like 5 T-Rexes, but trying to get all those scalers really late game, it's even harder now because you don't have Lobster Can and stuff like that. That used to be a great way to just be able to pivot into like anything, but not really the case anymore. I decided to look for tier 5s, tier 6s, and got lucky. Okay, this time I got lucky. But instead of buying the melon, just decided to get the extra stats since otherwise, I mean, that was +4/+4 so many times. I don't even know how much, but definitely worth it to just roll instead of buying stuff when you have moose a lot of the time. Pretty scary team. Got a tiger blowfish, but it's a draw. Okay, interesting. All right. Luckily, that Octo killed that tiger. Get melon on all of the team. Could take cheese, but I guess this front moose isn't really gonna get scaled. There's the last tier 6. Could take a lollipop, although everything is pretty much equivalent stats, so it'd be completely useless. At this point, I could just buy food. Maybe, I don't know if steak's in the pack, just give a steak to the weaker moose. Eventually, I will, I guess, scale it since 50-50 on the tiger and the octo already. The white tiger, I should say. Ran into a strawberry team. You don't get to see those too often in the late game, but not really a problem. Pack 3 still kind of bad, even though they nerfed so many of the other things. Alright, yeah, so it's time to start buffing other things. Unfortunately, the moose can't buff itself, but that doesn't matter if you have multiple, because then they can buff each other. So I guess we're double buffing this weak moose, or I could buff the strong moose. Oh, this does allow me... Yeah, this is interesting. Okay. So I can put the white tiger in front. I'm wasting a moose buff, but I don't know if that really matters. I'm wasting a lot of moose buffs, but since everything's going to hit 50-50 so fast, I guess it's not really a problem. And then goodbye all their melon, because the octo is still really good. And looking for maybe one more chocolate just to finish out the squad. Yeah, there we go. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I still want to see all the things buff each other. It's a last turn, so I would like to see it, and this is going to just buff so many things. I don't want to calculate the actual stats. Actually, it's not that hard. It's just 18 and then 12 and then 12. So it's 24 and then 42 plus 42 plus 42 every turn. That sounds like a lot, and it is. And level 3 spider, kind of interesting. And then the octo finishes it off, the pepper. Nice. And there's 10 wins with level 3 and 2 level 2 moose. Thanks for watching. See ya.